out of the ruins and rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, can we see a ray of hope? One pale thin ray reaching for the day. We can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. When your trust is all but shattered, when your faith is all but killed, you can give up bitter and battered, or you can slowly start to build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city. Not a city of angels, but finally a city of men. A city of men.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael Weinstein. I'm the director of the School of Performing Arts, and I'd like to welcome all of you and over 100 people that are watching on YouTube tonight. Before we start, this came upon us very suddenly, of course, and actually, we decided on Wednesday we had to do something to pay tribute to our friend and colleague, Dan Jones. And there were a lot of people that worked very hard over the past 4 days to make this happen. And I'd just like to recognize them. First of all, Claudia and the student stage management staff have been integral in putting the evening together. Our accompanists for the evening, Heather Langs and Terry Thomas. Terry, whom many of you know, and Heather. And Carol Studer, who has been integral in getting these lovely people in row 2 and the great t-shirts here with us this evening, the Orlando Gay Chorus, who we'll hear from shortly. Renee, Becky, and Sarah, and Eric, friends of Dan, who have helped us find pictures and memories that we're going to share with you tonight. To our amazing tech staff and designers, Tim and Casey and Rob and Autumn and Ben, who put the YouTube together and all of the tech and the music and just did it really quickly, and it's so great, and we thank you very much. To Heather Gibson and Bridget Parry. Heather is our PR person, our marketing person, who just got the word out like in lightning speed. And you all met Bridget coming in. She took your names, and she put the Eventbrite invitation out. To Nicole, Quaid, and Matt, who put together the video that you'll be seeing later. To our wonderful performer, Jared Austin Royce, who just charmed us with that beautiful song. And you will hear from two more UCF performers later, Woodrow Jackson Helms and Kayla Rose Ginty, who are appearing in our current production. This is not what this usually looks like. This is actually the set for First Date, which opened this week, and Dan designed it. That beautiful top that Jared was wearing was one of the last designs that Dan made. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to turn the mic over to somebody with a lot more energy and pizzazz than me, and that is BJ Stevens, who will be our MC for the evening.
Okay, is it on? It's on, it's on, it's on, it's on. Hello, hello, hello. And he was thanks, ever so. He was busy thanking everybody else. Can we have a big round of applause for Michael, the high poobah that was kind of instrumental in getting all of this nonsense together? And all I got to say is, Jared, that jacket, the brown suitcase that's in the back, make sure you put it in there really well. Not that it would fit me or anything, but damn, that was fabulous. Well, here we are. And I got to tell you all, this is strange for me, because Dan and I go back. We go way back. I knew Dan when we were both young and pretty, and just pretty is all that's left anymore. But anyway, they were talking about, we need to talk about the things that Dan loved the most, that brought him the most joy. And obviously, the place that we're at here, and a lot of you people out there, that's number one on the hit parade. And then there was the Orlando Gay Chorus. That's number two on the hit parade, which, by the way, I sing with. So you will see me later blending unobtrusively into the risers when they all go to sing. And the number three thing that they talked about was Dan loved his pageantry family. I don't know if anybody here from Miss Perfect? Okay, good. Yes, Dan loved his pageantry family. And it made me think about some of the experiences that Dan and I had shared. And long ago and far away in a mythical land called Kissimmee, Dan and I had done some stuff with the Miss Perfect pageant system. And yes, that's just as precious as it sounds. Well, let me tell you what, I learned something back then. When I was working with Dan back then, I did not know, and that is, he has superpowers. Dan had superpowers, and among his superpowers were he had the ability to take an emotionally distraught 17-year-old pageant queen and talk the bitch down off of the ledge because her zipper had popped out 2 minutes before she needed to go on stage. Not a skill that I possessed. I'd been like, bitch, get over it. Who cares? Hold it in the back and just walk it. Work it that way. But no, there was Dan. He had his magic wand, which was also known as a needle and thread. And he would be very quietly, and he would be comforting, and he would be consoling and nurturing as he whipped that shit back up together and sent her on stage. And I thought to myself, this man, he's special. Because for me, I'd have been like, does anybody have a friggin' safety pin? Just one to hold the top together. That's all we really need. The rest, girlie, you're on your own. But he was always there with a consoling voice and this gentle giant of a man who could always find the right thing to say to bring back to reality some of these pageant people. And that's not an easy thing to do. I don't know if any of you all have watched any of these pageant people in action. And if there are pageant people out there, I apologize, but you know what I'm talking about. These bitches ain't right. They are, one too many rhinestones, one too many tubes of E6000 to be sniffing, because they are just off on Planet Claire. But anyway, that was one of Dan's loves. And of course, another love was the Orlando Gay Chorus, as I previously mentioned. Dan and I went way back, and we had a commonality because we were both healthy girls. Ain't called out. We were both healthy girls, lots to love. We also both had big voices and both loved to belt out a Broadway show tune. Yeah, exactly. Those of you that know, Dan was a total karaoke whore. We'll call it what it was. But that's okay, because he was a damn good karaoke whore. Many a times, Dan and I would come up and we would be up auditioning and we'd get down to the final and it would be, here's Dan and here's me. And it's like, we'd both audition and sometimes I got the part and sometimes the director screwed up. But I always knew it's like, every time it came down to it, they said, and the finalists are Steve Brooks and Dan Jones. I was like, oh, damn it. Because he is so frigging talented. His beautiful personality, his wonderful soul was only matched by a frigging dumpster full of talent. He could sing the house down, and he could be as funny as can be without even really trying. And another, speaking of not even trying, another special talent, which there may be people in this room that experienced it, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. But Dan had the unique ability with the biggest smile and the most sincere look and these honest eyes that would look at you as if to say, you're my bestest friend. He would come out with some of the shadiest, snarkiest shit you have ever heard in your life. And he would do it in such a way that you didn't know whether you were going to smack him upside the head or just give him a big old hug and say, bless your heart. He could do that. That was his superpower. He could be snarky, but in spite of all of that, the love, the beauty, the compassion, the sincerity, the honesty, the love for what he was doing and the people that he was doing it with, it always came through. So I gotta say, Dan and I, it was not always a bumpy road, but like the song says, I'm better for knowing him, and I think probably a lot of us in this room could probably echo those thoughts. So Dan, we're here. We're gonna say some stuff about you. We're gonna say some good stuff, and then we'll probably tell the truth a little bit too, so brace yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna keep this rolling right along because we have somebody, speaking of the aforementioned Orlando Gay Chorus, we have one of the high poobahs. Not a medium poobah, because this is something we deserve, the high poobahs. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the high poobahs from the Orlando Gay Chorus who's come up, he's going to tell you a little bit about Dan and all the stuff that he did in the chorus, because that list goes on for days. And my feet hurt, so I'm going to sit down. So come on up here, Sean Mundy from the Orlando Gay Chorus.
Whew, what an act to follow. Hi, my name is Sean Mundy Shine, and I am the chairperson of the board of directors for the Orlando Gay Chorus. I had the privilege and honor to present an honorary membership award to Dan at our last corporate annual meeting, which was absolutely deserved. Today, I want to celebrate Dan's life and especially his contributions to the Orlando Gay Chorus. Dan was the epitome of service to the chorus. After joining in 2006, he held many leadership positions. Dan served as the president of the whole chorus, founded our small group ensemble, Spectrum, served as president and secretary of the member council, coordinated numerous cabarets, and helped with costumes at our concerts, an experience he was able to share with us from his passions and his career outside of the chorus. He also served as chair of the Music and Artistic Design Committee, Public Relations and Marketing, as well as the Production Committee. He was our chorus's coordinator for the 2012 and 2016 Gay and Lesbian Association of Choruses Festivals. He was busy. Singing next to Dan in the tenor section, enjoying time as a fellow Spectrum member, attending many of the shows of which he had designed the costumes, sharing meals and wonderful conversation. I can say that Dan was a wonderful colleague and a dear friend. Recently, I had the pleasure of volunteering alongside him in our storage unit while we dutifully and calmly sorted music, cataloged costume pieces, and just like Dan's character, he never once complained about these menial tasks. That's the kind of dedication that Dan had to the chorus. He would sing out loud and proud at every concert and outreach. He'd make us laugh at the uncut cabarets, and he would make us all emotional at our Love Is and A Lot of Night Music cabaret performances. Dan went above and beyond as a member of the Orlando Gay Chorus. He definitely had a passion for making our organization better. Dan has earned his wings as he joins the heavenly choruses and choirs. And you know, he looks damn good while doing so, wearing those lovely bowling shirts that he made with the odd, fantastic fabric prints that he found. One of our people, at least, is wearing that shirt tonight. You know, random cats from that looked like old-timey photographs, and shirtless, ripped cowboys on shirts and masks. Fantastic. You know what I'm talking about. But seriously, I know the chorus will miss your kind heart and your beautiful voice. I miss you, and I love you, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Sean Monday Sheen. Yes, Dan did it, seen it, acted it, put it together, produced it, and everything for the Orlando Gay Chorus. And I was there for a lot of it, and boy, he was so good at what he did, and he did everything. Ugh, disgusting. Anyway, we have another singer. Well, she is a singer, but she's not singing right now. Are you singing right now? Lynn, where are you? You're not singing. No, she says, no, I'm not singing. I'm sitting right in the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, a former member of the Orlando Gay Chorus, which is where I got to meet this lady. And first time I saw her, I went, ooh, she seems like kind of a serious person here. I better watch myself here. And then she opened her mouth, and I went, oops, wrong again. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring to the stage. She is one of my favorite people on this whole planet, a former chorusite, and in our hearts and souls, always a chorusite. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lynn Wheeler.
I miss everybody. I said, boy, he is one sweaty bitch. Man,
Only 19 layers of spandex on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm sweating.
I know. I got a hold of his back, and I thought, there's no letting go of this. I was just gonna be sliding right down to the floor. Anyway, well, I'm glad Sean was kind of in between the two. But I appreciate everything that Sean had to say. When Carol called and said, I want you to talk a little bit about Dan, I said, what are the parameters you want me to use? And she said, the early years. And I'm like, what the fuck are the early years? Is it like the wonder years? Is it to talk? I didn't know. And I said, well, do you mean the early years of when I knew him? What? And she said, well, Sean's doing everything that he did, you know, that listed all of his, you know, he was a pretty good guy, and he was very successful in the chorus. So he's naming off all the stuff he did. So we want you to cover before he did anything. And I thought, well, that should be great. I tried to think, all right, he came in 2006, and the great thing about Dan was, as soon as he came, he didn't just kind of like get his feet wet. And you think, now this is a guy coming in from Nebraska. I always pictured him driving in with the... You're cutting off my damn microphone already. God, I just got started. Anyway, I pictured him, you know, driving in with the trailer and the tractor with the pigs on the back and all the corn and everything I associate with Nebraska. And he wasn't really like that, if you knew him. So, wasn't much of a farm boy. So, but I've got to say, when I met him, I was impressed right away. And the thing that impressed me about him was that he was never afraid to do anything. He always was able to step up. Now remember, I'm doing the years when he didn't do anything. So this is very hard to talk about. So I'm talking about a whole bunch of nothing here. But I didn't want to encroach on anybody like Sean or anybody. But I'm going to tell you a few little things about him. So when he first came, and I even wrote him down, and I just don't normally even do this, but let me see. And I did this right before I left, and I didn't even get a finish. I don't even have an ending. So we'll all work together on this, okay? So before he did anything, he was still being Dan. So he was always in service to himself and others. Now I know it's hard to believe, but I am a psychotherapist. So I know. Anyway, and I always tell my patients, you need to be in service to yourself and others. This is what Dan did. When he came, he became in service to himself and others. He came to the chorus, why? Because he needed to serve himself. He needed to have support and friends. I mean, this was this guy that just came in from Nebraska, and it was amazing how fast he became in service to himself and others. And as he did that, he chaired different committees. But the great thing, he was really kind, but he didn't necessarily have that big ego that sometimes comes with people in charge, if you know what I mean. And he did many things quite quietly. For example, when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I had to have a radical double mastectomy. And now, if you notice, these are pretty nice-looking tits I've got, but they're not really mine. They're I have the perky tits of a 18-year-old. Unfortunately, they're hooked to the body of a 72-year-old. So it's quite a shock when you look in the mirror and then you look down. You're like, holy shit, what happened there? So anyway, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had just come on. It was like we started in the fall, and the next thing was going to be, I was the secretary, which everybody knows is a very shitty job. You know, I'm always looking for a job. I want a lot of glory and no responsibility. And it's very hard to find at OGC. But anyway, and I sure didn't have it. I sure didn't have it as a secretary. So fortunately, I got diagnosed with cancer so that I wouldn't have to do all that stuff, but I could still be the secretary. And Dan said to me, don't worry, Lynn, I've got you on this. Anything you need, I'll do for you. And that guy picked up my load. I played this cancer card for almost a year. It was pathetic. He picked up that card for almost a year, picked up this load, and he did everything that I was supposed to do, yet I was still the secretary. And I mean, maybe behind his back he was going like, oh my God, I can't believe she's still doing this. But I didn't ever hear about it, and you know how we love to tell what somebody else says about us? So I never heard it. But he was so kind to me, and I was so impressed about how he did that. Another thing he did, none of this really has to do with the early years, but what the fuck was I supposed to talk about? So, and you're going to go, how can you do in a eulogy? And you can always turn it all back about you, can't you, Lynn? Yes, I can. And so, anyway, and so the other thing that Dan did was very nice is that he was such a sensitive soul. When he found out that I was going to lose my breast, and they were trying to save my nipples, you know, like save the Alamo, save her nipples, and they sew them on your shoulder, like a continental soldier. They sew them on your shoulder to keep him there. Well, anyway, in the end, they couldn't even save my nipples. So he baked me a cake that was a big boob cake, and it had an areola, it had a nipple, it had everything. It was so cool, and he brought it to my house, and what should be kind of a sad thing was a very happy thing. He knew how to engage and do those sort of things with people. Another thing he did, that seems to be all about me, is that he made me a flamingo blouse once. And it was so cool because I thought, how would he even know my size? But my God, this is a guy that has this talent, amazing ability to create out of nothing. And I still have this cool shirt. And you know what? I pulled it out and looked at it. And I thought, I am going to love this shirt like I never loved it before. And isn't it funny how something you always liked now all of a sudden becomes so precious? And that's the opportunity we have today, to look back and to look forward and to make things, even in this room, precious to us. Now, I only have a couple more things to say. Oh yeah, another thing he did. When Joe Irwin died, many of you know Joe from back in the chorus, when he died, Bev and I, my wife's, who's here somewhere, if she is, there she is, and oh, I see you, yeah, good, see you guys too. There's so many wonderful people here, oh my God. I just think it's sad because I think if I die, you all are gonna have this great thing and I'm only gonna miss it by a few days, you know? And I think, geez, you know? Because Dan would have loved all this too. I think we almost need to have it first, you know, but we don't always know what's happening, you know? That's the thing. So anyway, so when Joe died, it wasn't, after he died, I think I called Frank and Dan. They were both on the board, and our members council, we call it now, or whatever. And so they came over, and none of us knew what to do. I mean, Joe was dead, and they were coming to pick up the body, but they showed up. And we'll say, Frank showed up, Dan showed up. So sometimes you just have to show up. And the great thing about him is he always did. From the time he first went in, service to himself and others, he always showed up for whatever you needed, and he got the job done. Speaking of getting the job done, the last thing I wrote on here was ripped his pants. And I think that's not a very good ending, but I'll try and tie it up with something more spiritual. But, because you all know what a spiritual person I am. And so we were all getting ready to sing, and Dan had on his black pants and his white underwear, as we all found out, and sat down, and right before we went out, he sat down, and I mean, he ripped his pants, and if you knew Dan's pants, I ripped my pants, it's like this, Dan rips his, it was like this. So we thought, holy shit, what is he gonna do? You know what? And Dan, Mr. Glam by Dam and all this kind of stuff, he didn't have a thread and a needle, no, but somebody had some duct tape. And you know what? Dan went and got that duct tape, and he worked his magic. He took that duct tape and pulled it and pulled it out and pulled it out and pulled it out. It was a very long roll. And he whipped that around and taped his pants shut so that he was not showing his ass on stage, which would have been a show we would have all remembered. But he did this, and you know what the great thing is about Dan? Dan did it, and he wasn't all like, oh my God, you know, what am I gonna do? He just stood up, you know, put it on his pants and went on. And he went out there, strutted his stuff, sang, did everything. Nobody ever knew he was like just one fart from a major blowout. But I'm just saying, you know, he had this presence, just a presence of him. And so there's, I gotta end this with something better than blowout by thing. All right, there is that poem, and maybe you all have heard it. It's called Dash. You know, they talk about with me, of course, but the dash is the beginning of our life. You know how they'll go like, this is your birth date, and then there's this little dash, and then there's your death date, and in between this, so everybody focuses on this and that, but that little dash, and that little dash is everything in your life. And the great thing about Dan is Dan always knew how to use his dash. And so I would invite each of you to use your dash. When I look around today, I see so many people that I love. And I think I should be telling you how much I love you. I see you, and you not so much. But you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, no. And so our job is to edify and love each other as we go. And Dan was very good at that. He brought everyone into the chorus, he lifted us up, and he did a great job, whether he was just starting or he had 3 feet of duct tape holding his ass into his pants. He was a great man. I love him, and it's been my honor to just have this privilege to stand in front of you and talk about my good friend Dan. Thank you.
She dropped with all this underneath here and these high heels. If I go to bend down here, honey. Oh, thank you. If I go to bend down, it's going to be like, and then the judge from Yugoslavia gives me a 7. Anyway, there you go, girl. She needs to learn. You glue them on. Anyway, let's see. Is this? Oh, good. They told me the microphones were being a little bit iffy, so I thought, I really need to make sure that this microphone is good at the end of the day, because I'm going to try and sing something. And I can hollow the house down, but it's hard to sound like a woman unless you have a microphone. So that's always been my great goal in life, is to sound like a woman. Anyway, our next group of performers, we've been hearing all about them and Dan's involvement with them. And he came and he joined and he rode the cow down I-95 from Nebraska to come to Orlando, and with a bale of hay in his teeth there. So what? But yes, see, I've been with the chorus since like the very beginning. So I was one of the old queens when Dan got there. Thank you. I appreciate that silence. That was nice and respectful. I was honestly waiting for one of these shady bitches over at this end of the room to say something, but that's okay. Anyway, speaking of shady bitches, the shady bitches at this end of the room and all the other members of the Orlando Gay Chorus are now going to come to the stage, and we're going to give a little something special going out there to Dan from all of his family at OGC. And Midori and I are going to blend unobtrusively into the group on the risers here, so pretend like you don't notice us standing here. Where are the basses? They're down here, okay. Yes, she's the low bass, children.
Just remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you take it all you can bear, just call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors, your true colors. True colors are shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show, to show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. Like a rainbow. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountains, we gon' walk it out. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you'll feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I'll rise, I will rise for you, I will rise for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, oh, we'll rise. Rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, high like the waves, we'll rise up, in spite of the ache, we'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Oh, here we go. I'm hiding in the back, so I'm going to wait till they all wander off stage. I'll slowly and unobtrusively wander to the middle of stage and fight my way through here. Lady with a baby coming through, coming through. The Orlando Gay Chorus, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my brothers, my sisters in sound. Yeah, did you hear all those wonderful deep, low notes back there? Yes, those were Mother, they were her. And all those wonderful high notes over there on the other end, well, those were Miss Midori, which you'll be hearing more of her later. Yes, that's my baby sister. She's young, she's pretty, I hate her. Anyway, so now we're going to continue along because we've had a little bit of song, and I'm looking, see, I have this wonderful cheat sheet because I'm old and senile and don't remember stuff because I have not had any tequila or vodka today, so I'm not expected to retain things. Okay, so I'm looking at this, I'm going boo, 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 two colors, brides up to, okay. I have banter. Did you realize this was banter? I was bantering the house down. Ladies and gentlemen, I have now bantered, and now I need to introduce a former student of Dan's who's going to come out here, and she's going to say something wonderful about him, I'm sure, because former students always do. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring to the stage a young lady. Her name is Harmony McChesney. What a fabulous name. Was that the real name? Were you born with that, or did you? Okay, I thought it might have been as a musical theater student. She said, I'm going to take that name because it's fabulous. Oh, there you go.
Real classy with my notes on my phone. Hello? Okay. I'd like to just thank you all for the opportunity to speak today. I'm grateful to be able to share what an impact Dan Jones had on my life. It was my last year on campus of my graduate program in costume design when Dan came to UCF. While I never had the privilege of taking a class from Dan, I was very much his student. I was the most stressed of probably my whole life, working on my thesis show, the Rocky Horror Show. And when Dan came, it was an absolute godsend for me. He helped me make it through that process. And I know he knows, he really saved my sanity through his expertise and his calming presence, which I'm really grateful to hear other people mention because he did really have that magical ability to just take a stressful situation and just bring some breath into it. He taught me through the mounting of that show and others. Feel free to come ask me later about us designing Capone's dinner theater together. How to reach out for help, which is a really important skill I needed to learn. How to prioritize, and how to lead a team. In the classroom or in the workroom, Dan Jones taught his students how to succeed. From me and all those who had the privilege of learning from you, Dan Jones, thank you. Christina Tollefson, one of Dan's colleagues, asked me to share her thoughts with you as well. So I'm going to read this from her. It's hard to believe it has already been a week since Dan passed away. I've spent a lot of time thinking about the 15 years we have worked together and how we ended up as colleagues in the first place. In 2006, our then costume shop manager took a last-minute new job, leaving us scrambling just as classes were about to start. At the same time, 1,500 miles away in Nebraska, Dan realized he needed an immediate change and decided to leave the job he had been in for the previous 7 years. We both found ourselves in pretty urgent situations. I don't remember how he heard about our emergency opening. I don't think I had even joined Facebook yet, so it must have been through an email chain, friend of a friend kind of thing. We needed him and he needed us, and somehow we found each other. After only a phone interview, he was here and working in 2 weeks. No one stuck with us longer than Dan. His ability to manage the challenges and personalities of our costume shop is a testament to his positive disposition and character. With all of the turnover and changes we have endured over the years, Dan has been a constant. I'm still struggling to comprehend the costume shop without him, and though we will never be truly without him. Every time I smell E6000 or glue on rhinestone, I will be thinking of him. Whether you're a member of his UCF family, his theater family, his chorus family, his pageant family, his drag family, or his Nebraska family, he has left his bedazzled mark on us all.
Yes, thank you. Well, we now have a gentleman coming to the stage who's going to introduce, let's see, I'm looking at this. Yes, that's what I thought, yes. We're going to be watching a video, and it's a video of Dan. I'll let the gentleman coming up tell you a little bit more about it, but it's interesting to see that Dan came from a long history of being a diva. He didn't just spring on the Orlando scene with the Orlando Gay Chorus as a diva. He took his training somewhere. He was coached. He was taught how to do all the things that he did so incredibly well. So, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you a little bit about Dan and his pre-Orlando era, please bring to the stage a young man whose name is Eric Cantrell. Is he here? Where'd he go? Where is he? Do we see an Eric Cantrell? There he is. Hello.
Lose the mask that matches the shirt, by the way, in honor of Dan.
Yeah.
Sorry, had an injury, so didn't want to do this. But Dan, I didn't know Dan very well, but he does come from Nebraska, so do I. He's from Doane College, now Doane University. We have a couple of alumni here. Dan was a fixture in the costume shop for the 4 years that he was there, and I was speaking with the technical director who was in charge of the costume shop today, and he mentioned Dan's kindness and his joy. And in the video that we're about to see, which was something that we put together, the alumni of the Doane College Choir, 30 years worth of alumni. We have 120 voices put together in a virtual choir that we put together at the beginning of the pandemic just to put joy out into the world. And Dan was one of the very first submissions to this. You'll find him in the center row, 7th from the left. The director of Doane Choir today said, "We were all blessed to have known Dan. His joy for singing and performing was contagious." And I think that's pretty much what we're all saying, is his joy was contagious. So enjoy Dan.
Y'all can applaud because that was fabulous. And I don't know about any other chorus geeks that might be in the room here, but this girl was back in the back. I was just feeling my fantasy with that going on. That was incredible. And for those of y'all that don't know, those kind of things, there's all these people singing, and you think, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is each of those people was recorded separately, singing in their living room or their bedroom or their kitchen or their recording studio if they were really fabulous. But they were all singing that individually, and that was all put together. And I'm listening to that going, that kind of blend and that kind of precision and that kind of technique, that tells you Dan was a part of something really special. And quick question, how many people clocked Dan in that montage? How many people found him? It was a little spooky. It took me a minute to look for it, and then I went, that shady bitch, he shaved his mustache and his goatee off. He looked like he was like 12. It's like, what are you doing? Drinking, potion to keep you young? Girl, good Lord. But I found him. It was like the Brady Bunch on crack. I was going, here's the story. There he is. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. That was fabulous. Like I said, as a theater geek, I was just feeling my fantasy backstage, and I hope you all were too, because that was absolutely wonderful. We're going to keep on. Now, we got something special coming up here, because we discussed before that this stuff on the stage here didn't just happen. It was something that Dan was a part of. It was the very last show that they've done here, and Dan was a part of it. And the show is called First Date, I assume. That's what they told me. I will be honest, I did not see it. I'm a terrible person. I did not see it. But anyway, we've got a group of performers coming your way, and I'm going to read this stuff off because, as I said, no tequila, no vodka, I'm sober. I can't be held accountable. It is Kayla Rose Ginty, Woodrow Jackson Hilms, and they're being accompanied by Heather Langs. They're doing a performance of music from First Date. We're going to start off, is it you we're starting off with, or is it yours together? Okay, well, she's walking this way subtly and unobtrusively because thanks to our friend Miss COVID-19, she got to wipe the microphone down. I don't want to give him nothing. I mean, actually, that's a whole nother story.
I am standing at the start of something that is new. I can't keep building walls despite what I've been through. If I may have found the someone, the one I should be looking for, I'd be a jerk to run away. So I'll hold my breath and stay.
There's a person by my side. She's not who I had planned, yet I feel the sudden urge to reach out and take her hand. And I yearn for letting go of all the baggage in my past. If I don't try, I'll never know just how far this thing might go.
We could make it to tomorrow, or just end it all right here. We could fall flat on our faces, or fall more in love each year.
With so little to be sure of,
Possibilities are vast. This could be one perfect moment, or maybe this is something that will last.
we could make it to tomorrow if I'd only take the chance.
If we say goodbye forever, could I miss some true romance?
All the burdens that we carry,
Need to let them go and fast, so there's not one perfect moment, but rather this is something that will last. I am through with holding on. I won't let mistakes and memories get the best of me. Oh, though my doubts are far from gone, I will leap into the future and just wait and see. If we make it to tomorrow,
if we stand the test of time, or the wind's too strong against us, and we can't quite make the climb. All I know is in this moment, my past is just my past. Right now I can't help but wonder if this could be the something that will last. Could this be the Could this be the something that will last?
Good first date, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, darn, he can't give me nothing neither. Well, wait for me. No, I mean, I'm only human. I'm married. I'm not dead. Okay, so here we go. We're moving right along. We're whirling along at a whirlwind pace here. We've done Something Will Last, First Performance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, oh! Here comes the BFF. Every gay boy has to have the BFF. And this is her. Ladies and gentlemen, please bring to the stage Dan's BFF. Her name is Becky Boson.
Thank you.
Oh, girl!
Oh, look at us.
Look at us,
Yes.
look at us. You got the memo. Did Dan dress you? Did he give you the message for that?
I think so.
All
I mean,
right.
like my whole life, right? Thank God. Wednesday night, I think Dan visited me in my sleep. Here's what I remember. The sky was iridescent, like a Maxfield Parrish painting, and everything was warm and peaceful and connected, and it felt a lot like when Dan would come home for Christmas, and we were sharing a picnic. It occurred to me at some point in the dream that Dan couldn't walk, but he had somewhere he wanted to be, so what the hell, we'd manifest a raft. And so magically, a raft appeared, a simple set of planks with a pole and a little red triangle flag, and then, as if by magic, a weightless Dan was transported onto the raft, and he joyfully sat, ready to go, parked on the shoreline of the stream. I kneeled beside him and the raft. "Are you sure?" I asked. He nodded and smiled. And so I pushed. And soon he was floating down the stream, and I was cheering, and excited and clapping and squealing, and I watched him sail away. And his image got smaller. He turned one last time and waved, and he said, "Goodbye, Mommy." And I whispered, "Goodbye, Daddy." And I woke up. And Becky Boson, and Dan was my friend, my best friend, for 25 years. When I met Dan, I was 18 and a freshman at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and Dan was in his first year of his MFA program for costume design. I was a naive, simple girl from the plains. We've heard about the trailer and the tractor and the corn, right? That was me, whose first thought upon meeting Dan was, that boy is so cute and so stylish, I wonder if he'll go out with me. Later, I learned that Dan's first thought when meeting me was, that little freshman girl wears too much rouge. And I still do. In spite of my misguided ideas and Dan's accuracy about my total inability to blend, we were soon two peas in a pod, more like family than friends, a bonded, platonic pair. We lived in the same apartment complex, and when a boy would break my heart, Dan would take me for pancakes. Then we'd go home, and we'd make a wall of brides, which is exactly the creepy business it sounds like. We'd go buy bridal magazines, and we'd cut out the brides, and we'd stick them in a collage on my wall. Then we'd watch St. Elmo's Fire and get drunk. Then we'd reenact selected scenes from St. Elmo's Fire. And I knew that everything would be okay. For me, Dan was the life of every party. Like the year he showed up for Halloween in camouflage dainties, complete with combat boots and a rifle and a turkey sewn on his hat, and called himself G.I. Ho. And I have the pictures to prove it. Dan was also fiercely protective, as many of you know. I remember being in rural Nebraska a decade ago when a bar fight broke out, and Dan and I were sipping our girly drinks on the periphery, but when the action got a little too close, Dan stood up, tossed a guy across the bar, and said, "Don't you touch her!" We made a deal. If neither of us was married by our 30s, maybe we'd move in together. Perhaps a magical child would manifest that we could raise. Our days would be filled with designing women and David Foster songs, and everything would be bedazzled forever. And then I got married 3 times. And Dan came to Florida and met all of you beautiful souls and made a wonderful forever home for himself. Dan was one of the first people I've ever known who was entirely safe to love, who loved me back and unconditionally. And trust me when I say sometimes I'm not easy to love. Dan didn't think so. This week I found multiple 3-second-long audio recordings of Dan's voice on my Facebook Messenger, saying what he said to me so many times through our lives together. "Loving you up close, Mommy." As you know, Dan's capacity for love was immeasurable. And if you're sitting here this evening thinking she's wrong, Dan was my best friend, it's because it's true. Dan loved you. Dan loved the people in his life wholeheartedly and forever, and I think that's not something that happens to us very often, but it happened to me, and it happened to you. Dan loved us. Aren't we so lucky? And we loved him. And I only hope that he knew that and how much. And while it's nearly impossible to comprehend a world without Dan, I can't help believing that his love and his goodness and his legacy live on in all of us. And I want you to think about Dan when you do something you know is good or you're proud of, right? And I think he'd love that, and I think he'll be with us too. Dan will be here every time something ridiculously fabulous happens, every time a safe person helps a scared kid come out, every time Bernadette Peters sings "Time Heals Everything," every time a chubby freshman girl with too much rouge feels seen and loved and protected, well, that's our Dan. And oh, how we loved him. Please enjoy this look back at our beautiful Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Oh, my. And here we are trying to keep ourselves together after all that. Yes, Mother, I don't know about y'all, I got just a little bit puddly out there, so we'll take just a hot second here till I get ourselves back together here. Okay, so we have now got another former student of Dan's coming to the stage here. I think she's probably got a few little anecdotes and some stories and maybe some wonderful memories she would like to share with us. So please bring to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady. Her name is Sarah Cox.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Well, when I was asked to speak today, I didn't really know what I was going to say, so I did something that Dan taught me. I reached out to my friends in my community and said, hey guys, if you could be here on this stage, what would you want to say to show how much you love Dan? What memory would you want everyone to have? So I have a list, and bear with me, I'm a little emotional. One particularly sad evening, Olivia found herself walking across campus towards her home, and she noticed the light was on in the costume shop. She poked her head in to see who was there, and it was our Dan, working late. She only meant to say hi and keep going home, but they ended up talking for about 2 hours. Without realizing it, Dan helped Olivia come back from that dark place, from that bad day, because he was kind. When Sam joined our lovely Theater BFA program in 2018, she didn't know if she really fit. She felt anxious, a little bit unwelcome in our theater world. And Dan, without missing a beat, welcomed her in, showed her how loved she was, and gave her a place to be. She expressed her interest in, maybe wanting to do wardrobe, but she wasn't really sure. And, oh, Dan, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what to do. And in his Dan way, he let her know everything was going to be okay and gave her all these wonderful tools and opportunities to succeed. And she shared with me the last conversation they had where she expressed to him, because of all of his support, she felt that she could take on a job as a real union wardrobe head or something big like that. And Dan said, that would be perfect for you. I believe in you. And it meant the world to her because Dan was always thoughtful and always giving. Adam has a little more of a funny memory. He recalls when we would work late or on weekends that Dan would always bring us wonderful food to eat because we were starving theater kids. He knew how important it was to take care of us in that way because we were still learning to take care of ourselves. He was our teacher, and he taught us that. Rosabelle shared a memory wherein Dan encouraged her and some other students to put on some wigs that were very exciting, very jazzy, left over from a musical. And they kind of didn't want to do it. They felt silly, but Dan always encouraged us to have fun, to do something a little bit strange. You might as well laugh, you might as well enjoy the moment. And so they did, because Dan was fun. And Dan had a wonderful, infectious sense of humor. Brenna shared with me a memory wherein Dan gave her her room to shine. She had designed a show, and without being told to, Dan stepped back and said, "Kid, you got this. Go for it." Because he was our teacher, and he trusted us. And in her own words, Dan never wanted us to forget that he was always in our corner, looking out for us. My younger sister actually came to visit me here for a week. She shadowed my classes. And out of all the teachers that she got to meet, Dan was the one who said, "Hey, kid, what'd you think about that? Tell me about it. Get involved." And her face lit up. It meant the world to her that this fancy teacher was all, "What do you think?" When I was in school here, I didn't have a car. I felt kind of ashamed about that. Broke kid, no car. One night during tech, I didn't have a ride in the middle of the night. And Dan went out of his way to make sure I could get home safe by driving me home himself. I have one more memory, if that's okay. It's one day in the shop. He pulled us all together. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if we were in trouble. And he said, "Hey, you guys, thank you." Thank you. What'd we do? He said, "Thank you for working so well as a team, for everything you've been doing, everything we've been able to do. I really appreciate it. I'm proud of you." And we all just kind of looked at each other like, wow. "Oh, you're welcome, Dan. But we kind of figured out how to do that from watching you. So thank you, Dan. Thank you for being kind and thoughtful, for our leader for being generous, and for being ours. It meant the world to all of us. So thank you."
Sarah Cox. Well, we're going to continue it along as if we haven't had enough wonderful things said about Mr. Dan. We're now bringing somebody to the stage who is uniquely qualified to bring a totally different perspective to this, but I'm sure she will reiterate a lot of what we've heard: his kindness, his sweetness, his honesty, his willingness to give, and unbridled compassion for everybody around him. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Dan's sister, Renee Griffith Splitter.
Oh, this is very overwhelming. Tonight's celebration, seeing all of you, honoring everything about my brother and his career, his life, has been really amazing to this point. I want to thank Michael for organizing and collaborating with all of you to honor Dan. Whew. I said I was going to hold it together. Okay. My brother was destined to be a performer and designer from a very early age. His love for drag actually started when he was 5 or 6 and went as Barbie for Halloween. I, being the older sister, was mortified when we walked up to the first house and the lady said, "Oh, look at you and your little sister." And I'm like, "He's my brother." He started designing early when he got his first Barbie fashion plates for Christmas. And in his middle school years, he designed and created costumes for his He-Man and She-Ra toy collection. Our family has always known how talented he was, but honestly, this has been an eye-opener as to how much he's contributed to the performing arts, especially in Orlando. His time spent with Orlando Gay Choir was such an immense part of his life. While cleaning out his office at UCF, we came across a letter that he had written. It was dated July 13th, not sure of the year, but it was when Spectrum was about to make their debut. It said, and I quote, "I have almost 2 hours of downtime to rest and focus before the debut of Spectrum. OGC has been an instrument of change in my life. OGC has been the place and people I needed to heal after UNK. He goes on to say that he wants Spectrum to be an example of what is possible with honesty and caring," unquote. And I do hope that Spectrum will continue to do this going forward. I have so much more I want to say. He was the best brother. He was kind when I was not to him. He was always there for me through all my struggles with losing our father, having to get my mom into a facility. He may not have been there in Nebraska, but he was there for me emotionally. And even though he wanted to be there, he at least was there for me emotionally, always. It's going to be hard to continue without him and without that rock. Without that, like you've all said, that sense of peace that he could give you by just speaking with you or looking at you. On behalf of our mom, our family and friends who are not able to be here, I want to thank you for live streaming this celebration today so that others that are not able to be here can enjoy and see how much love there was for him and what a great thing he's done in this community. We thank you all for loving Dan as much as we do and for being his family here in Orlando. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, children. Do you know how hard it is to keep false eyelashes on when you're crying? All right, well, as we have previously established throughout the evening, yes, Dan loved drag. Dan had been known on occasion, as we could tell by this video montage, to throw on a frock once or twice himself. He had occasionally taken that Maybelline plunge into the dark side. And as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who saw the picture of Dan as Mrs. Claus with those humongous, enormous bazungas, those were mine. I don't want them back because they're too permanently enshrined as a part of his legacy. So whoever's got them, give him a good send-off. Dan loved drag, which is one of the reasons that he asked, and the people that know him asked, to have drag here. So here we are, a man in a dress. I know, surprise. You thought I was a woman. We have got another entertainer who is also in drag, who is going to come up to the stage, my sister in crime, Miss Midori Sauer. Come on up, girl. We are both members of the Orlando Gay Chorus, and we have known Dan for a hot minute or three. We used to joke about the gay national anthem, you know, what it would be and what it wouldn't be. And of course, depending on what the spirit of the event was, it ran everything from I Am to Born This Way to, well, this particular song right here. So ladies and gentlemen, Midori Sauer and B.J. Stevens. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane.
When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane
to a place behind the sun,
just a step beyond the rain.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me.
Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why? Then oh, why can't I?
If happy little bluebirds fly
Beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
As for you, Dan, woo!
Who
All
wouldn't love a
right.
costume change? Come on now.
Yeah, that's right. Too bad you couldn't find something pushy to wear.
I mean, just a little something.
I know. I decided I'd be the tasteful one in the crowd, and isn't that a sad state of affairs? All right, still leaving, working the sequence. How nice for you. Anyway, that does bring this afternoon's event, festivities, celebration, commemoration, respectful, whatever the hell you want to call it. We getting done here. We is about finished. We got a fork stuck in us and we is done. So we are going to say thank you for being here. Thank all of the people who gave of their time, their talents, and their memories, their love, their affection, and their respect for Dan. Thank you all for everyone put this together. Thank you for all of you who decided to show up and be a part of all of this. We thank you. Dan is looking down on all of this right now and going, God damn it, I didn't know I had that many fans. Well, yes, Dan, you do and more, because you, my friend, are a talented you-know-what. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You can stick around. You can mix and mingle. You can say hello. You can acknowledge people. You can go up and introduce yourself to somebody that you've never met before, because that's what Dan would like. So, thank you very much and have a lovely afternoon.